My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Wildfrost. Ooh, every 5 turns, summon Bebop. Bebop, when destroyed, apply 4 Overburn to the attacker. I mean, there is a Whack here that has health and damage and smackback, but I think I'm going to go with the Fader. I would like to have a resummonable resummon. Although, Fader, you're not going to be called that for long because you're clearly an Eloise type. Let's go. While active, add 1 damage to all allies. Lilgazi, the new pickup. I'm not sure if that's the person I want to take out, though. I think I prefer Sneasel. Draw 1 when hit. Gives us a couple of opportunities to get more useful ink blades and such in hand. Also lines up very well on a bunch of lines. Not going to do a bunch of damage as well. I guess maybe I would have preferred Spike. Especially in this instance. Okay. So how do I kill as many of you as possible on the same turn? Well, I mean, task number 1 is get a Junjun out to attack in 3 turns' time. If I throw one Tarblade at the top line, then next turn, Sneasel and Junjun can kill both the Pengoon and Chungoon on the top line. The only problem is I then can't take out the Wild Snoof at the same time on the bottom. Okay, I guess I just settle for the 2 for here. Free Snoof, draw a card. Sneasel and Junjun take 2 out. I mean, Snoof will also die to Bebop as soon as Bebop is summoned and as soon as Snoof attacks. Which is pretty good. I could get some additional health on some characters, or I could Sunburst 2-2 in order to get a Bebop earlier rather than later. Which I think I might actually do that. I deal 0 damage, but I summon Bebop. So when Snoof attacks, it's going to get 4 Overburn, immediately die to that, and deal some damage backwards to the Waddlegoon. Ideally, I want to do 5 damage to the Waddlegoon with a single Tarblade, giving me the ability to also Tarblade Gobbling next turn. It just doesn't seem as likely. Okay, just going to throw out 1 Tarblade against the Waddlegoon on the bottom line, and then another one this turn. So that would get the Wild Snoof and the Waddlegoon down at the same time. And then Sneasel and Junjun get some extra money out of the Gobbling on the bottom. Sorry, on the top, rather. I could throw a Tarblade this turn and then just get ready to throw another Tarblade next turn against the Gobbling, which I think is probably our best idea here. Yep. Goodbye, Gobbling. Hello, Bebop. I can't unsummon Junjun, unfortunately. So So I can't really prevent Junjun from attacking this turn. I would love to get the 4-time combo. The 4-time combo is the best way to resolve this. Each additional stack on the combo is worth so much more than the previous ones. You know, I could drop Sneasel into the deck, Tarblade my own Junjun. This is getting very far out there. But then next turn, the Penguins are ready to attack Bebop, so I would have to put Eloise in front of Bebop. And then Sunburst 2-2 Eloise in order to get a second Bebop out, and then the turn that the Penguins actually attack, they can attack Bebops. The only problem is, with that play, Big Peng will have 5 damage by the time that happens, and Eloise will have 5 health. So I'll lose. Because that locks in the play that I have to make this turn and next turn. This turn has to be Kill Junjun, next turn has to be Sunburst 2-2. Right? I'm gonna try it. I think there's a version of this that I'm not seeing right now that I can do. I'll put a Junjun on the top line now. Eloise summons Bebop. And now a Penguin in each line attacking a Bebop will kill 4 units. I mean, heck, if I can get 6 damage on Big Peng, that'd be sick as well. Don't think it's happening, though. Guess I could also try and Blizzard Big Peng if I really wanted to. I don't think I need to, though. Let's make this nice and old-fashioned. I'll throw a single against you. I don't think I can keep you on the field for long enough to actually get a respawn of enemies right now, but... You know, there's one way to find out. It doesn't say any more will spawn, but... I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, we're done. Okay. Sunburst 2-2 on Sneasel, then kills Big Peng for us. Reasonable amount of money to come out of there with, 102. I would love Overburn or Sacrifice synergies. Well, I mean, if you're offering. There's Groff, trigger when an ally is sacrificed. I can't take that before I have the ability to sacrifice allies. So, Chikichi. When sacrificed, summon Chikani. Let's do it, buddy! Now let's try and find some way to sacrifice you. Jade Clay makes a copy of an item in your hand. Yeti Skull kills an ally in order to apply 3 snow to all enemies in the row for the Chikichi. Seems a great way to do that. Now, I don't want Devacrow here, but I would take them. Vesta! Double the target's Overburn! It's exactly the kind of thing I'm gonna do! Give me that Vesta! Let's go! Oh, baby. I feel like I should get Sneasel uncrowned and put the crown on Chikichi so that I can start sacrificing them early in order to get damage out on the board. Popple has 7 health. Oh boy! That's annoying. It'd be hard to remove that target. Destroying Chikichi right now would give us a Chikani, which I think I might need here in order to have enough damage to do anything impactful on board. So if I do 2 damage on top line to the Pop Shroom, then I can guarantee that Chicani is going to take that out in the next round, which it has to do. I don't. Does it have to do it? I'm going to put Chicani down here in order to do 4 damage to Shrootles. I still have to freeze Shrootles in order to prevent them from attacking, otherwise life's hard. And the next turn would be Junjun on the top line. Pop Shroom explodes against Junjun. Yeah, that's actually probably better for us. Let's quickly cycle here. Two turns time. The problem here is that Yeti Skull sacrificing Chicani freezes an entire line, which is quite useful. But the bottom line is the line that really needs to be frozen, but the top line is the one that gives me value for freezing it. If I freeze the bottom line, however, I basically never get to actually do damage on that top. Basically just have to say goodbye to that goblin. The next attack would be in 5 turns from the bulb head. Also, the puffballs attacking without actually killing anything. They apply Shroom, and because they don't kill anything, they won't kill and trigger the Bebop. When destroyed, apply 4 to the attacker. So no, I need more powerful units on board. Yeti Skull Chicani. Unfortunately, Shrootles also doesn't do any damage, so actually getting my Bebop attacked here for lethal from anyone is very difficult. Making it a pretty tough ask to get anyone to real damage points here. Maybe I need to get Chika-san to attack sooner, start clearing some units off the board for our sake. It's like the worst way to accomplish this in terms of combo, but gotta do what you gotta do. Guess I'll summon Sneasel out to the field because I can. Bulbhead on the top line finally intends to do damage to a target. I guess I could leave Vesta there to try and double the target's Overburn, which would then kill Bulbhead and Valid Lady. Or I could just redraw right now instead. I'm gonna redraw. Freeze the entire bottom line as well as get an upgrade on my Chika-san. So Sneasel's about to kill the Puffball. Or I could split up here in order to try and not kill the Puffball at the same time. Two damage to the top head bulb. Top bulb head, rather. Eventually, Veiled Lady's gonna need to block on that top line as well. Alright. I'm gonna Sunburst 2/2 Sneasel in order to draw a card as well as kill Bulbhead. Bulbhead and Chikashi go down this turn. We get a multi-kill, at least. So in 3 turns time, the Shroom Gobbler is going to be attacking this line. Getting 4 Overburn after having lost 8 health, so it will explode at that point, so I need to do 4 damage to Bulbhead, and then also set up lethal on Veiled Lady in the same period of time. 4 damage to Bulbhead is suddenly getting harder to do. I could try and set up doubling the target to get 1. Because I have to wait for the Shroom Gobbler to... No, none of this lines up well, unfortunately, right now. When do you get his Skull Chikashi? Chikaguru. Let's have a look at the Veiled Lady striking Bebop. Actually, it worked. It actually gave the Overburn to the target. Okay. I've seen situations where that hasn't happened, though, as well, which... I see. Oh, wait. I killed the top line. I played Vesta, so, of course, Chikaguru attacked. Not the best management there, certainly. Blink's now okay for a little bit more money. Gnome Traveler beforehand in order to look at some specific options. I think I prefer the bottom line right now for a treasure and a new member of the team. Azul's Skull, kill an ally, apply 4 Overburn to the front enemies. And then there's also Skull Miss T, kill an allies, add their add their damage to all allies. Chikichi's future versions getting that is pretty good. It's also a Shade Wisp. Summon a copy of an enemy on your side with 1 health, and that doesn't even have Overburn. That doesn't even consume. I want to lean into the sacrifice and Overburn dynamic, so I'm going to take Azul Skull, but I recognize Skull Miss T and Shade Wisp are both incredibly strong as well. Possibly even stronger. Berry Sis for some extra health for our team doesn't seem awful. Don't think I need Sneasel over Berry Sis. And in fact, I'm going to have to uncrown Sneasel if they have it. They do not. Great. Pinkberry Juice. Gotta come with us, buddy. You're a Pinkberry Juice, you see. It's also a Frost Bloom for making an enemy weak so that I can keep him on the board, or leave him on board, rather. And I can even afford that as well as a crown. Best at doubling the target's Overburn doesn't really make any sense yet. I will happily take that Frost Bloom. That is a lot of power we just picked up in that space. Thank you. Moving ahead to Bamboozle. First summon the Tarblade Chikichi. Get Chikani out. Then I'm going to Azul Skull Chikani to get Chika-san out. Frostbloom, I can already invalidate Bamboozle entirely here. That Winter Worm in the back line's about to be a problem soon, though. Frostbloom Bamboozle to buy myself a turn. I'll Berry Bell the top line and just risk Snowbow hitting someone other than my mainline target. That's fine. Okay. Bamboozle is going to do 0 damage to everyone, and then I'm going to summon a Bebop. Let's pop a Vesta out on the field as well. I want to get the Overburn to exploding against every target on the field, please. So on the top line, if I Yeti Skull Chika-san, I can freeze the Wild Snoof and Bamboozle. Berry Sis gets to attack. Okay. Yeti Skull and Chika-san. I Tarblade the Winter Worm on the top in order to reduce its health below 8. And then I wait. It'll trigger its Overburn. I'm certain that still happens. Even if it doesn't quote-unquote die. Vesta doubles that. 4-time combo. Also get 8 damage on one of the summons here. Lovely. In fact, for exactly that reason, I can set up a kill on the top line, Berry Sis attacks, and then next turn, when Boozle attacks, they die against Bebop. So let's cycle. See if I can do anything significantly better than that. I mean, Yeti Skull on Chika-san freezes this bottom line, gives me a bigger unit for attacking later. Doesn't necessarily actually accomplish what I'm asking. I guess I could Sunburst Tutu to get Chikashi to attack this turn for 8 damage. I just don't think I have another 8 damage following it up. Is there a way to line up for more kills after this instead? I mean, one way would be getting enough damage on the Snowbow in the back line. Unfortunately, there's 3 Tar Blades in the next stand. That's not enough. I need 4 Tar Blades so that I could take out a Snowbow in a single hit or something like that. Okay, no, I think I just have to accept that this is 2 kill. So as soon as Boozle attacks, both of the top liners are dead. Eloise can happily summon a Bebop here for us. Excellent. I'm now well set up for Bam to die basically as soon as they attack. Although, actually, I don't even have to let them get to their attack phase, necessarily. But I should. Okay, I'm gonna Sunburst 2-2 Bam. And then this turn... okay. 2 Tar Blades, that's enough to take out Porcupine as well. Bam strikes, and there goes the bottom line, 3-time combo. Okay, there's a bit more money. I'm happy to have it. I mean, I definitely don't need to increase my my companion limit. Counters so that I can get back to like Azul Skull and Yeti Skull more consistently would be lovely. So that's what I do. Oh, well, I mean, if the bottom line is going to force me to go to the bottom line, I'm going to go to the bottom line, of course. Lumen Goop. Don't even look at the other ones. They're not relevant to me. I do love a copy of a Pinkberry Juice, but another Azul Skull. I feel like I might need more things to kill if I want to get another Azul Skull in this deck at the moment, though. For it to be worthwhile. Maybe I want another Yeti Skull. I'm gonna take another Yeti Skull. I'm not certain about this yet. Let's go to the Charm Merchant and see what's up. Bebop Mask! Summon Bebop! Neat! Is that good at all? There's also a Flame Blade Charm. Replace current damage with apply Overburn. Berry Sis applies 2 Overburn regularly. Not bad, not bad. There's also a Moko Charm, add Frenzy, but -2 damage. Unfortunately, it can only work on a unit that does have the damage to give up. There's Critical. I mean, putting Critical on Pinkberry or Azul or Yeti Skull, all of those each quite effective, quite effective. The Bebop Mask for just being able to summon one of my own Bebops, though, as well as it having the Chucklefish charm, so I can put as many charms as possible on that. I like it. I'm gonna do it. I want to make this run work. I don't necessarily think all of these are the strongest choices, but I want to make it work, so I will. Or I'll die trying. Bebop Mask that top line. In 4 turns time, Vesta responds on the top line to finish that line off? I don't know about that. That seems bad. That seems very late. At that point, I could just wait for the extra Bebop to get summoned and then leave that to die on the top line in that way. Vesta does need to be on the field, though, at least. It's currently 3 damage going against Vesta on the top line. Varisis and Chicani are both attempting to hit Grog, which will actually speed up Grog, unfortunately. I could take Chikichi out with a Tar Blade, and will do. As much as I am going past the Pinkberry Juice right now, and Pinkberry Juice is very good, I mean, I could just put Berry Sis on the top line and then give them Pinkberry Juice. It's actually not so bad. I'm doing it. It gives them the ability to defend this turn, and then they give that extra health to another unit. Now, 4 more damage from you. Vesta's gonna double the Overburn on the top line, and in doing so, kill Makoko, the Pepper Witch, and the other Pepper Witch. Chika-san here on the bottom line, as well as Eloise, are currently threatening to actually make Grog attack this turn. I'd like that not to happen, so I'll get Eloise instead to attack on the top line, which actually will then go to the bottom line instead. Oops. Let's cycle. I'm gonna put a Junjun mask on the bottom side for the Grog to attack. Turn 5, Vesta hits Makoko twice? Vesta doesn't have... What? What? How did... How did Vesta attack twice on the top line against Makoko? And take 8 damage? What? Okay. I think I should probably just start taking enemies out this turn. Solid 4 damage through that line, and then if I let the Pepper Witch attack Bebop, that's even more. And in fact, if I put Berry Sis on the bottom line and give her a Sunburst 2-2, then Pepper Witch attacks Bebop, explodes, Junjun attacks Grumps and dies, and then the Berry Sis attacks Grumps and finishes them off. 2-time kill combo. I can only assume that what happened before was a bug. I otherwise do not know how to... I just, yeah. I otherwise do not know how that happened. I mean, I do have to just kind of focus King Moko right now if I want to be able to get through this. Yeti Skull to blow up Chika-san right now is probably not a great idea. I'm gonna Blizzard Bottle Makoko. Make them non-threatening, especially because they'll attack every round with the spice they pick up. I'd rather this. And this would be a really good turn to Yeti Skull Chika-san. I kind of do want Overburn on everything. Okay. We'll sack Chikishi on the top line again with Yetis, preventing the enemies from attacking. Enemy's gonna try and summon next round. I really do feel like I'm attacking too slowly to take out King Moko at this point. Oh, it really only summoned a Goblin to the fight? Never mind. Thought we were going to get a bunch of units on the top line and be able to set up a bunch of overcharge kills, rather. Additional health on units at this point doesn't really help us at all. We just need to make sure we have the damage to kill King Moko. I'm really not sure how to do that. I'm gonna buy myself an extra turn by attacking King Moko, or hitting, rather, King Moko with ice. And now a Tar Blade before attacks go off to get some more spice against him. There you go, 15 health. And Eloise is currently doing 15 damage in 3 turns time, so that'll be the kill. Great. I'm gonna put a Bebop out in front of Makoko here on the bottom line. Cycle. Don't think there's any way here for me to get additional effect out of this turn. Eloise is just going to attack King Moko and then die. Alas. I guess the best I can do is Azul Skull on Chikaguru to get a double kill. Goodbye, Moko. Yeah, no clue what happened to Vesta. Frozen Travelers on the top line? No, not so much. Let's go for the treasure. Azul's Candle. obviously. I'm gonna munch some other cards out of my deck that aren't helping me do this. It's definitely 2 Tar Blades for us. Treasure time? What do you got for us? Mega Mimic, trigger when an ally attacks and deal damage, lose health. Scrap health, that is. Heart Mist Station, when an ally is hit, restore their health by 1. Totem of the Goat. Before an enemy attacks, deal Demonize to them. Probably Heart Mist Station out of these. But I don't really expect to be able to play it often. Let's go into the next battle. Oh boy. Not thrilled to be finding the big boy here. I'm going to Tarblade Shikichi on turn 1. And then Yeti Skull Shikichi on turn 2. And honestly, I should probably freeze the Bigfoot on the bottom line. Welcome, Chika-san. Do I want a Junjun Mask out on the field? Probably not. I'll Berry Bell the top line for some extra HP, cycle in the next turn. There's Bebop. Woolly Drek is about to eat someone, gaining their effects. I don't really want them to eat someone healthy. I don't really want them to eat someone with Overburn on them, because then the Overburn just disappears. Berry on Berry Sis is always a pretty good play, though. Never gonna feel sad about that one. Okay, Woolly Drek's gonna attack the top line for 4. This one I could happily block with Chika-san, noting that I can easily just Yeti Skull them again next turn. I'll be pretty happy about that. And then Eloise can summon a Bebop on a line that can get another Bebop next turn. Then what do I do this turn? Guess I summon the Bebop early. Not exactly how I wanted that to go, admittedly, but alas. Let's use the Yeti Skull to freeze that entire top line by taking out Chikashi, or summoning Chikashi rather. So if I cycle, I can get back to Vesta. I do need to focus on the Woolly Drek on the top line for a bit here. I just don't really know where Vesta would go. Well, let's cycle. Vesta up on that top line. Pawpaw gets 4 Overburn. Chikashi now has the ability to attack. And Bigfoot on the bottom line is attacking aimlessly. Either hits Bebop or Berry Sis. Chikashi is attacking this turn. Makes it pretty hard to... Makes it pretty hard to consider any play that kills Chikashi right now. 8 damage, 25 health on the Woolly Drek. I like the idea, I just don't think it helps that much. Actually, I can clear out the bottom line with Vesta's doubling if I freeze Bigfoot this turn. So, next turn, Pawpaw attacks Bebop, gets up to 8 Overburn, and then Vesta attacks Pawpaw, giving it 16 Overburn, it explodes, doing damage, taking out the Pawpaw and the Bigfoot. I love that idea for a turn. Now, is that turn just randomly also going to kill Vesta for no reason? No reason that I can see, at least. I don't know. I'm gonna get the Heart Mist Station out there and put Berry Sis back in the front line, getting some additional health. Wow. Well, right now, this is actually bad, because unfortunately Bebop got some of that extra health, so it's not gonna die to Pawpaw. I need to do 2 damage to Bebop. I would need to draw... Oh, God. There's a couple of things I could draw here that would make it fine. Yeah, including the doubling for the target right now. Actually, not including the doubling on the target right now, because if I double the target, I also hit them, giving them more teeth, so they end up with 6 teeth, and then Vesta definitely will die by attacking. Oh boy. I shouldn't have let Berry Sis take that hit on the top line, as it turns out. So here's how we deal. I'm going to use the Yeti Skull on Bebop. No, I'm going to use that on Chikashi here, which will freeze the entire bottom line for me. Yep, it's broken. It's something's wrong with the way that Vesta applies. Vesta didn't have multi-strike, but did die to a unit that only had spikes 3, despite having 4 health. So that means the first time it happened as well, it was also bugged. Alas. Bebop. And then Grumble and Grumble take out the second. Neat. Pretty useful. Gets Overburn on targets that don't desperately need it right now, though. And then Woolly Drek is going to eat something afterwards as well. I should probably get Chikagaru to attack this turn. Right, Woolly Drek attacks aimlessly. Forgot about that. And unfortunately, the Overburn... Wait, hang on. You did take the Overburn from the character that died. Oh, buddy. At any time that I want, I can just Azul's Candle the top line in order to kill all of them. So obviously now I'm looking to try and set up multiple kills here. Kinda hard to do though, because I have to keep this hand. I'm just gonna kill the top line. Just gonna let that happen. Cycle now. Bebop mask for the bottom line's nice. Especially where it hit. It's fine. Probably one of the best next. I'm going to Yeti Skull Bebop. Yeah, confirming that doesn't apply 4 to the front line. And now all I need to do is get Bigfoot to attack on a line that only has Bebop in order to get the kill there easily. Use a Tar Blade on Goblin to get some money. When Big Lou attacks, they're going to be the person that gets Bebop's effect, unfortunately. I can get 2 units killed this turn with an Azul Skull. Okay. I'm going to Sunburst 2-2 Chikagoru on the top line. Getting 2 early attacks. Now let's just grumble up there. Intending to attack at least. Using the Zeal Skull on the bottom line would just kill Bigfoot and Goblin. Not really the kind of turn I was hoping to have. I'm gonna weaken Big Lou. Unfortunately having to suffer the frost effect. Warpaw now strikes Berry Sis, Chikagoru kills Bigfoot. You have to watch the Goblin on the bottom line run away. Don't even get to play the Azul Skull. Yep, if I can target the Harness Station, I will. It explodes that bottom line, and then Bigfoot dies on the top line for a triple kill. Berry Sis could easily just go back in the deck right now. And so they do, then I'll cycle. And in fact, we draw into the ability to put a Bebop mask on the top line. Love it. Why don't you take a hit off of that, buddy? There's a Junjun to soak up the damage from Big Lou. Pawpaw attacks. Grumble attacks. Realistically, I just freeze Grumble to prevent their hits so Chikagoro can take out Pawpaw. Eloise can still summon the Bebop. And yeah, I'm probably not going to be killing both of these on the same turn, if I had to guess. In 3 turns' time? Yeah, that just doesn't seem likely. You know, if I put some health on Chikagoro so that I can actually get them to survive a Sunburst 2-2 to the face, maybe I can get kind of close here. You know, Grumble on the top line, get up to 8 Overburn. Certainly got to frost up the Big Lou. Cycle. Oh, but whoever attacks this turn kills. This lets Big Lou attack Bebop, and as long as I actually kill Grumble before that, Chikagoro's follow-up damage is 10 against Big Lou, it's not enough. How do I line this up better? I could get Chikagoro to be the person to take the hit from Big Lou here. Big Lou activates in 4 turns, I activate in 3. Unfortunately, that would be a problem. I could put Berry Sis out to have another that attacks in 3. Well, 5 at that point. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the health on Chikagoro, keep them around. Yeah, Grumble attacks for 2, and then I summon a Bebop. That Bebop kills Grumble the next time they try to attack. I Azul Skull Chikagoro now on the bottom line. And we're set up. Next time Grumble attacks, they'll die against Bebop. Oh, but if I use the Azul Candle to kill Big Lou before that, then I still won't win. Annoyingly. Oh, this is a nightmare. Trying to eke out this little extra value here. Okay, Grumble attacks Berry Sis on the top line. I can just get extra health out of that. Put another Bebop on the bottom line. And now Big Lou will die to killing both of those Bebops. Actually, this works. I Tarblade Grumble. I attack Grumble. After Big Lou attacks. Enemy attack phase over. My attack phase ends by killing the enemy. 2-time combo. We did it. Have to go down. Unfortunately, I would have loved to go north and munch, but I know where my bread is buttered, and it's down here with the Lumen Goop and Lumen Vase. Now, unfortunately, none of the things that I have can really be doubled by the Lumen Vase. Summon Bebop. Summon 1 Bebop would be able to be doubled, I assume, but I don't think Summon Bebop will allow me to summon 2 instead. Soulbound Skulls. Add Soulbound to an enemy, add Soulbound to a random ally. They'll take 100 damage when the Soulbound cards are destroyed. There's Tiger Skull for more destruction, but I don't really want more destruction as much. There's Berry Blade, which is always quite nice. There's a Crown, obviously, which I'll be taking. Pop that on the Lumen Vase. Honestly, like, Lumen Vase on Heartmist Station is pretty good too. Lumen Vase on Azul Skull, a couple others. Tigris Mask. Gain 1 Thorns when an ally is hit. There's like a Tiger Skull, Tigris Mask, Berry Blade kind of combo here that could be fun, but don't think I want to do that. I think I'm already deeply invested in a completely different version, the health, sacrifice, and overburn side. A berry blade for assisting this would be nice, but I also don't think it's that important with the Yeti skulls I have access to. Let's take a charm first. Spark charm, trigger immediately after deployed, cannot be recalled. Oh, baby. Trigger immediately after being deployed for Vesta. Trigger immediately after being deployed for Eloise, just immediately summon a Bebop. I think that's really good too. You know what? I'm gonna do that. Eloise, why don't you immediately summon that Bebop, please? Sure, I'm gonna go for another cheeky charm here. Restore 2 HP on kill. That's not gonna commonly occur for us. I guess. I'll hold on to that actually. It's so unlikely to occur in an upcoming fight, at least with relatively soon, that I don't think I need to immediately deal with it. Alright, so ultimately it just comes down to whether or not I'm going to be taking the Soulbound Skulls, or Berry Blade, or neither here. Oh, I don't think I have good health upkeep outside of the Heartmist Station. Berry Blade would be nice. I don't think I need it. I'm going to try and use the Soulbound Skulls. Let's just see how it goes, I guess. Krunka. Oh no, I gave the Lumen Vase that... Wait, I can't even play it. Oh, thankfully I have someone I can target with it. I was about to say, is this actually going to end the... end the run for me? Because I don't have a target that I can hit with this? Was I going to have to hit the enemy? Thankfully I hit Bebop instead. Ugh. Obviously not what I was hoping to have happen. Get a Heartmist Station out on the field. Yeah. Yeah. No. Tarblade Shikichi first, thank you. Krunka deals 8 damage to all of those lines as well. It's a bit of an annoyance. I think I need to freeze Krunka. Okay, and now it's time to get the Heartmist Station out. And cycle. I can use the Yeti Skull to keep people frozen for longer. But I don't need to do that right now. Instead, I'm going to summon Vesta. I don't really want to get hit with the smack back, but I'm going to avoid it. I think... And I guess I do want to freeze the bottom line. Ultimately, it comes out to the fact that the Spuncher on the top line and then Grink are both attacking in the next turn. So I could just wait until Vesta has the ability to respond against them. And that would be by sacrificing Shikani right now, in order to get Chikasan. Yeah, let's do that. This freezes the bottom line, so I don't have to worry about the smackback from the Spike Wall, although it still does get a Thorn. And honestly, I could even just get the Spuncher to hit the Bebop on the top line. 9 damage through the entire line, kills the top 2, and then also does damage to Krunka. Love it. Let's use Pink Berry Juice on Berry Sis. Keep them reasonably healthy, especially considering they're about to start hitting spikes. Shika-san is currently threatening to do something similar. Vesta unfortunately doesn't have any damage, so they're not actually going to do anything this round at all. Unless I had an Azul Skull. Even then, don't think it's as necessary. Let's cycle. Get a Bebop out. Not a bad target. Summon a Bebop mask. Down the spike wall on the bottom line, unfortunately, is back within threatening range for us. One more damage dealt to it, and then I would be able to just kill it with the Berry Sis in the next turn. Unfortunately, none of that involves freezing the Crunker in the back line. Not certain exactly how I want to do this. That spike wall does need to go down, but enemies are about to be summoned. I could cycle right now in order to probably get to a Yeti Skull, but not guaranteed. I'm going to cycle right now to try and get to the Yeti Skull. There's 2 of them in the deck. Didn't manage to hit it, unfortunately. Oh boy. Currently I'm doing -1 damage and Berry Sis intends to attack an enemy that's going to smack me back for 7 damage in response. The worst. Oh, that got pretty bad as soon as I got to this point. I'm gonna have to freeze Crunker and then scramble to figure out what I'm doing next turn. That Ice Forge needs to go down as soon as possible as well. And get Berry Sis to attack the top line instead, so that I at least don't take the thorns. Chika-san has now 10 health, which is nice. Between a Tar Blade and Chika-san's attack, we could take out one of the spike walls. And in fact, if I ordered it like this, I could even get the Bebop to explode against the Spuncher. Eloise will have to also go on the bottom line, otherwise I'm going to have Eloise take a smack back this turn, so we've got to use a Tar Blade against the spike wall. So Vesta can double the Overburn on Spuncher right now. Next round I'm going to have to worry about Crunker attacking. If I use a Tar Blade on Ice Forge this turn, I can try and set up better to use... or to take the Ice Forge out on a later turn. Yeah, I definitely can't just let Berry Sis attack like this or anything like this. We'd have to lose too many units on board. I've got a cycle. Yeah, well, there's the Yeti skulls I was asking for so long. Good to see him. Now that we have them, though, I can just Yeti skull Chika-san to freeze the entire enemy top line, as well as Krunker in the back. Ghost hits Sponcher, but doesn't have to worry about dying. I'm gonna use Jules Candle to get Sponcher and Grink and Krunker all to take a hit. 2 of them to die and 1 of them to take a hit, I guess. When an ally is hit, restore their health by 2 from the Heart Mist Station instead would be kind of nice. Give the Lumen Vase to the Heart Mist Station. Chikashi attacks the back line. Okay. And now sacrificing Chikashi again here. Would be a really good way to freeze all of the enemies, take the heat off of me, obviously. Unfortunately, Berry Sis and Vesta are doing no damage right now. Couldn't even summon, but at least I couldn't get smacked back. And I'm just gonna, for safety's sake, I want to remove the Ice Forge right now, but if I remove it right now, literally right now, it will just respawn another enemy in that position that I'm gonna have to deal with, which is possibly gonna be too much for us right now. So I'm gonna cycle and look for something I can do this turn that's just okay. It's just fine. Let's get some additional health on the top line with the Berry Belt. There comes the resummon. And all I have to do is throw a Tar Blade to the Ice Forge on the top line. Actually take some units off the field, finally. Okay. Yeah, Krunker's currently threatening to do damage. I can put Berry Sis back into the deck and then... Oh, actually, that's pretty good. The play is I put Berry Sis back into the deck, and then I summon Bebop Mask in the back line. Krunker attacks everyone, gets 8 Overburn, and in doing so explodes. Excuse me? Doing 4 damage to Porcupine, what? Krunker takes 4 damage and then blocks 4 damage. So Bebop applied 4 to Krunker. And then another Bebop applied 4 to Krunker. Krunker never took 4 damage to the Overburn. It would have had to take 8. It had 2 stacks on... Weird. It seems like Overburn is a mechanic that is kind of supported, I guess, at the moment in the game. Boy. I'm gonna summon another Bebop with Eloise. Oh, Vesta attacks and gets attacked back. Well, that's fine. Let's cycle. Porcupine's about to take out itself as well as deal some damage to Krunker. Love that. Weakening the enemy and having them only do 5 damage is not enough here. Graces is still in the deck at least. I could let Shikaguru die. I lose a lot of my damage that way, but can start trying to rely on Overburn instead. And in fact, if I did it that way, I would put Pinkberry on Eloise. Sure. Please stop attacking all of my line. I'd prefer it. Grink attacks Eloise. Eloise gets healed afterwards, thankfully. Actually, I'm gonna Sunburst 2 to Eloise, also healing them, but also triggering the Summon with Bebop, so Grink gets 4 Overburn now. And then if I cycle, I might be able to double that. I can indeed with Yuzul's Candle right now. Although unfortunately, the Spike Wall smacking back would kill one of my units on the field right now. So I have to throw Vesta back into the deck. Yep. In fact, I could even just block with a Bebop Mask on the top line. It's a lot better. I'm gonna put a Bebop Mask on the top line. Grink hits that, explodes. Now the Spike Wall dies as soon as it takes its next hit, which it will take to Berry Sis. I don't really have another great target for Lumen Vase or anything like that. I'm gonna do 1 damage to the Krunker with a Azul Candle, probably with an Azul Candle rather in the next turn. Yeah, unless I wanted to cycle to get a Yuddy Skull earlier, and I probably don't. Azul Candle! And it splits Krunker! Ooh, this is much more generous line, thank you. Now I don't have to worry about anyone being attacked. Let's cycle, try and keep Krunker in this pattern as long as I can. Whoa, almost. It's got a Junjun out on the field, so I have someone to sacrifice with the Yeti or Azul Skulls. Do like the idea of an Azul Skull to try and set up more Overburn now so that I can start doubling that. A Berry Bell for the top line. Berry Sis does survive this hit. Passes 3 health to another unit for us, and then also heals up. This Harkness Station did so much work. So much of my upkeep is just that. I should get out on the board Vesta. I almost want to let Berry Sis take this hit here. I'm gonna Sunburst 2-2 Vesta in order to get a doubling of the enemy's Overburn sooner rather than later. Great. Now some increased health for Berry Sis. A quick cycle here. There's the Azul's candle. I'm gonna get the enemy to attack 2 Bebops, yes! Yes. And follow up with an Azul candle for 48 Overburn on a single target. I think that might just be too short of the achievement, though. I'm gonna add to my card draw. We've only lost Chikichi, and Vesta's recovered from their injuries. I don't need more tech in this deck. I need money so that I can get more crowns later, please. Let's get the Lumen Vase to not have a crown that ruins our entire life. Unless I go for a Heart Mist Station. The Heart Mist Station with a crown was very good. This just guarantees I have the Heart Mist Station out on the board before I draw into my Lumen Vase. Yeah, Eloise is more than fine to get hazed here. You can use a Tar Blade on Chikichi for the first form, and then a Yeti Skull for the second. Big freeze on the grab in the back line. I definitely still care about my Pinkberry Juice. You know what? I'm gonna Sunburst 2 Eloise and get an early second copy of Bebop out. Chika-san just dealing some damage on the top line. Yeah, I'm unlikely to be able to kill 2 units this turn. I think Pinkberry is pretty important to get played though. So Burster on the top line can hit a Bebop and then explode. Not especially great in terms of damage, but fine. I could try and freeze an entire line with another Yeti Skull on Chika-san if I really wanted to. Just doesn't seem like that helps us particularly. The Burster attacking one of... rather, the Burster getting haze on Eloise, who then attacks one of my units before summoning a Bebop, literally doesn't do anything. I should get Vest out on the field. If I don't have a better idea of what to do with that turn, that seems like a good one. Crawler attacks in a couple of turns. I could get a Bebop out on the field for it to attack. And I will. Burster on the bottom line is currently set up to explode. for very little damage to other targets on field. I guess I could have just had the Berry Sis on the top line attack the crab to remove an armor from them. That's it. I'll use a Tar Blade for the crab on the top line now. More than happily. I also kind of find a cycle past this hand. After I Lumen Vase the Heart Mist, get additional health on Berry Sis, and then I attacked one of our allies, giving them more health even. Welcome, Numbskull. I definitely need to freeze this bottom line now. Summon Yeti Skull Chikasan for some big freezing action. Once Crawler attacks, it will kill itself as well as the crab directly in front here, doing 1 damage to the Numbskull. Cycle. Ooh. Yeah, let's sack Chikashi to get some Overburn on the bottom line. I don't really care about combo as much right now. I just want to get through the fight. And now I'm going to use Azure Candle on the crab, which will force it to explode, losing 2 of its shield, killing the burster behind it as well. If I Pinkberry Juice the Berry Sis on the top line, we can have a pretty comfortable turn here. Can get a lot of additional health out of that. Now, Eloise is looking to attack for no damage, but summoning the Spark. This is a very slow deck. I'm going to cycle right now. There's the Lumen Vase back. Still think the Lumen Vase is on the right target, though. I'll just start throwing some Tar Blades at crabs. Best I can do. Throw one more. And then I'm going to have to set up a Berry Sis on the bottom line, because Crawler attacks, hits the Berry Sis, then Berry Sis attacks the crab, and oof. I just don't want to waste a unit, but I guess attacking on the top line is also not wasting a unit, really. Just I feel like I'm not getting any Overburn out there double in the first place. Yeah, I'm gonna throw the additional Tar Blade against the Numbskull. I need to work through all of those charges. Post haste. Toot sweet. I'd love to freeze that entire top line. That would have to use Yeti Skull killing Chikagoro right now, though. Guess I'm okay with that. Oh, the Goblin got the additional block. Why? Quick cycle. I'm happy with Eloise taking the haze. So that means I put the Bebop mask in front so that Numbskull hits that. And then the burster follows through to Eloise. Varys will kill the crawler on the bottom line this turn. I'm gonna set up Vesta to just double Numbskull right now. Their Overburn, that is. And now if I Yeti Skull Bebop, I can keep gobbling around on the field for a little bit longer as well. I could Lumen Vase them and then try and hit them consistently in order to get more out of them entirely. Don't actually think that's a great idea for us right now. I can see the position in which it would be, though. It's a fun position to be in. Let's cycle. Do prefer the idea of throwing his Yules against the Numbskull. And a berry bottle against the Goblin, keeping it around, getting more money out of it. Remove another block from the Numbskull. As soon as Vesta attacks here, we are going to... we're going to have the Numbskull explode, which will take out the Burster in the backline as well. Beautiful. Eloise is about to attack one of my allies, thankfully dealing 0 damage, but that ally will then heal by 2, unless it's the Harness Station, or Vesta. So I guess only if it's Berry Sis, really. Cycling gets us to cards that don't really matter as much right now. I'm gonna give health to the Berry Sis. Summon a Bebop. Then we can cycle, and I can use my Yeti Skull to kill the Bebop. Then in doing so, we keep the Goblin around. So I can continue just throwing stuff at the Goblin forever. Let's hit you with a Tar Blade. I'll make you do some less damage, maybe. I've lowered your damage, as well as gotten some money from it. Got to cycle right now if I want to have the hopes of being able to freeze the Goblin continually. Freeze Goblin. Oh, I've got time, buddy. I've got time. Give some more health to the Berry Sis. Then I can... summon a Junjun, who gets sacrificed to continue freezing the enemies here. Then... easy Tar Blade against Goblin. It's gonna now start actually running out of health. Unless I only cast 0 damage things against it, which, I mean, it's possible. I'm gonna continue lowering its damage right now. You know, I'm gonna give it Lumen Vase. Two turns time, it'll run away. It's very quick. I now cycle in order to make sure that I get an ability to freeze the Goblin. Because now it's dropping double damage. Dropping double money, rather, sorry. Now I Yeti Skull the Bebop in order to freeze that line again. And just keep fishing for money here. I do feel like I'm cheating a little bit here, but still. It's okay. This is Bottle the Goblin. Keep you around for longer, please. I am not done with you. Oh! I don't have to be done with you for a while. I give you health? Oh, I'm just gonna get as much money out of this fight as is theoretically possible. Let's freeze the enemies here as well. Very sick strikes. I'm gonna pop a Bebop out on the fields, and then Yeti Skull with Bebop. Vesta's currently threatening to end the fight. Oh, and we have Hog-Headed, so I can't not do that. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Fine, I'm gonna get the double kill this turn. Azul's Candle. Boom! We did it. I think that was a decent amount of money right there. Achievement unlocked Ritual as well. Shade Sculptor. Dupe something in the deck. I mean, duping another Azul's Candle is not awful, but if I don't end up getting up a resilient build before that happens, I just lose instantly, so I'm gonna avoid that actually. Shade Wisp! Summon a copy of an enemy on your side with 1. Great, happy to see it. I'm gonna take a crown. And then I'm gonna take a charm. Gain Fury 3. Almost none of you ever attack alone on a line though. Then I'll take another charm, and then probably the Shade Wisp. Yank. I'm about to remove 2 Tar Blades from this deck. Because I can freeze an entire line, the directed freeze might be the one that I want to have Yank on. Fury is almost certainly just Berry Sis, and then I also give the Cloudberry Charm to Berry Sis for the possibility of healing herself up a bit. Take the Shade Wisp. At least Berry Sis attacks fairly commonly, so shouldn't be too bad. Anything else I would want to focus on instead? I mean, having Shade Wisp in the opening hand so that I can copy some enemy effect can be pretty good. Quickly head off to this Muncher and feed you my final 2 Tar Blades. Time for the Eye of the Storm. Enemies are very powerful. The sooner I summon, the far better off I'll be. Eight damage is enough for a lot of units to just take out Berry Sis in the instant by itself as well, so maybe Heart Mist Station's less impactful. But then the Lumen Vase doesn't want to go out early either. You know, I think Shade Wisp does need to have that little hat. I almost think that... No, Chikichi needs to be there so I have a target for all of my sacrifices early on as well. Just almost feels like maybe I want to get Pinkberry Juice in the opening hand too. Lumen Vase currently doesn't target anything. I'm gonna put it in a Heartless Station instead, I think, then. Alright! Tusk, Spike, Disney, it's all there. So... Tusk has, while active, add 3 damage to all allies. Shen applies 3 Overburn, that's a lot of Overburn. Apply 3, restore 3 on kill, and smack back. The only problem is I don't know if, like, 1 current health or 1 maximum health. I think Tusk is the one who wants it initially, at least. I should have played that on the bottom line. Tusk doesn't have teeth. Oops. It's 1 maximum HP. Okay. That makes this a better play. Shen applies Overburn instead of attacking, which is terrifying. I'm gonna have to freeze her in 3 turns' time. I'm gonna Tarblade Chikichi. I'm gonna need damage on the field in order to be able to do anything here. I'll move Chika-san up to the top line and then Yeti Skull you. Big useful freeze on Shen right there. Lowering the countdown on Chika-san so that I can attack Tusk makes it a lot easier to end up removing Shen. But do I need to do it right now? 2, 6, 6. Probably not. Eloise's health on the top line's a problem as well. Disney is gonna be an absolute nightmare to deal with. And they've got the resist snow because of course they do. What? I couldn't really take them with the effect of wanting their smackback, noting that smackback wasn't ever really gonna occur for us. Definitely can't let Shen attack. So you know what? I'm just going to free Shen again. That's something useful I can do with this turn. I could cycle right now, but do I want the health instead? There's Azil's Candle and Azil's Skull. I Like, if I ever let Shen attack, I lose. I just end up losing one of my entire lines, and it becomes the value impossible, almost, to get past that. I could theoretically let Tusk attack in 3 turns' time. Okay, I've got a Pinkberry Berry Sis. Then cycle. Now I probably want to just freeze the top line using a Yeti Skull on Bebop. Sorry, yeah. Yes. So that Eloise will still attack the bottom line and still summon a Bebop. And you can attack next turn, dealing 7 damage to Berry Sis as well as providing 7 health elsewhere. Unless I want to try and set up burn on the bottom line with Bebop, so you'd take 3 damage, you'd have 4 effectively dealt to you, down to 11 health. And then Berry Sis and Tusk attack. Next turn I'd be able to Azul's Candle you in order to do more damage if I really wanted to. In fact, I could even set up a 2-line kill with that if I really wanted to. But then what do I do against Dysnomia on the top line next turn? Realistically, I would love to just block them with 2 Bebop. God, these turns are so complicated. There's so many different kinds of things you can do. I could rely on Dysnomia not doing that much damage by Azul sculling the Chika-san on the top line. Or even just Frost Blooming Dysnomia. Both of those do it. Let's go with the Frost Bloom on Chika-san. So do I Lumen Vase Bebop right now? In order to make it easier to take out Tusk and Plum at the same time? I don't think I'm going to need that as much as I'm going to need better preparation against Dysnomia. Right, of course, after it attacks, it dies. That makes sense. I could let Berry Sis on the top line take all of these hits. You take no damage, but you do get a bunch of stacks of Demon Eyes. That's not good. Not good at all for you. This will give a bunch of stacks of Demon Eyes as well as healing to Chika-san. Let's summon a Junjun on the top line, so I have a unit to sacrifice to give Azul Skull forward. And then I can get rid of all of that Demonize if I wanted to right now with the Azul Skull. I think I will, actually. That sets up for an Azul's Candle against Shen to take out 2 of the units on their board. Okay, definitely can't let... Oh, smackback it goes on the top line as well. Uh-oh. Disneymere is about to be a nightmare here. Gonna have to cycle. Please don't kill Eloise, Disneymere. Please. Because I can't attack Spike with Eloise. But I also can't attack Disneymere with Eloise. Right now, Eloise does survive on 1 health. I could freeze an enemy and yank them. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna yank Plum forwards, giving me a target that I can safely attack without dying. Now I'm just trying to figure out exactly how best I can manage the rest of this. Yeti Skull could try and freeze the bottom line again. Doesn't really help me. We can get Chikashi to kill Plum right now. Leave Spike on field, and Spike's huge and problematic. We just wait a couple of turns until Plum attacks Bebop and then dies immediately, and then Grizzle attacks someone as well. Don't really want Grizzle to attack anyone. I'm gonna summon a Junjun so that Grizzle has someone to attack. Oh no, Berry Sis is gonna trigger Smackback if they're on the top line as well. Oops. Definitely don't want them to attack there then. 2. Chikashi could take both of these hits without losing. And then I can Lumen Vase Heart Mist Station in order to keep my position on board a lot better. Plum attacks, Bebop explodes, Grizzle attacks Berry Sis. And then Junjun just probably dies to someone on the top line. Well, that seems pretty fine to me, actually. So I'm gonna cycle through for something. I mean, getting towards Vesta would be nice. Not that I really can use them at all. Another Bebop mask in there, I guess. Let's cycle. If I really wanted to, I could have Grizzle stay here and keep the Overburn they gain. don't really want to freeze the bottom line. I do want to get some additional health on the field. Yeah, so I probably just still do this. Smack that kills Chikagaru on the top line. A Bebop mask up there would be nice. And then Eloise is going to summon another Bebop in a couple turns' time, and then Disney is going to kill both of those Bebops. Unfortunately, Eloise has to strike someone. So I guess I will strike Spike. Let's get Vesta out. Never mind. Eloise is not going to be able to summon because Vesta went out. I'm going to Azul Skull Junjun. Gok is about to apply a lot of damage to the top liner. I'm going to Frost Bloom Gok in order to slow the roll on that one so that I get to survive it with Berry Sis. Let's cycle and see if I can get any more Overburn on Disneyland. I can indeed. Although I guess I don't have to double and double this turn, so I can use a different way to try and block Grizzle's incoming effect here. I'll summon a copy of Spike to take the hit from Grizzle, please. Nice work trying to take out Disney on the top line. Now we can... I mean, just... double your Overburn. And then next turn, double your Overburn again. Get him, Vesta. There goes Disneymer and the Gok standing behind him. What? The music sounded weird, like it had died twice. And now it's in the middle of the screen. I'm gonna assume it's taking the only legal position left on the field right now. Rather than not. Boy. Love to get some Overburn on some targets, you know? Love to have some units worth letting die. Get an Overburn, you know? Frost Guardian's gonna attack next turn for 2 damage against the Lion that really can't survive that. $16 health still left on that Spike, unfortunately. I almost think I have to cycle Berry Sis back into the deck in order to get some health on her. Gonna do that, and then I'm gonna cycle to try and draw towards her. Let's get a Bebop mask for the bottom line as well. So on the top line, Grink is going to do 2 damage to Vesta after Frost Guardian kills Bebop. Great. I'm gonna freeze and yank Grizzle forward so that I don't have to deal with the spikes from Spike. Then Uberbear is the one who's going to hit Beepo. And then all I need to do is be able to double the Overburn. Do I want to put a Junjo down on the field to have another damage soak effectively? Yeah, I think I will. Now Grizzle on the bottom line is intending to do damage. I don't want to see that damage happen to me. Frost Guardian and Grink could do 3 damage to Eloise as well as apply 1 Frost. Grizzle takes out Junjun on the bottom line. And then I double the Overburn on Frost Guardian. Can't tell what the final card in the deck is though. So I'll cycle. That's Lumen Bars. Probably could have guessed that, to be honest. I can now get Junjun to defend on the top line because this Grizzle... Yeah, if I use Azul's Candle on Uberbear... then I can easily take out 2 targets on the bottom line. Gives more damage to the Frost Guardian, but still allows me to follow up. Definitely gonna summon another Bebop. So currently it'd be Frost Guardian kills Bebop, Winterworm kills another Bebop, Grink hits Vesta in the back line. You know, in order to get the largest possible effect out of this, I'm going to put a Lumen Vase on the first Bebop, which is just a current doubling of Frost Guardian's effect. Let's cycle. I'm looking for doubles on doubles on doubles on doubles on doubles on doubles. Sunburst 2/2 on Vesta in order to double again. Frost Guardian's going to attack the 6, and then Grink follows up. If I just weaken the Frost Guardian, I can still get some good healing out of that. Thank you, Heart Mist Station. Could summon a copy of an enemy with the intent to immediately then destroy it with his Yule Skull if I really wanted to. Actually, just gonna get a Berry Bell on my top line, get some extra HP. Cycle time. Cool. Just put another Bebop mask out there. That gets destroyed, and then I get to double the Overburn on Frost Guardian, up to a total of 72 now. I'd love to just continue focusing on that. I'm gonna summon a Junjun. Noting that I can kill it immediately in order to freeze all of the enemies, save the Frost Guardian, who will only get frozen for a single turn. Now I can cycle, ideally into something like Lumen Candle, which I can, good. But I'm gonna Lumen Vase Bebop instead, for another 8. Now that's 80, now it's 160, and now it's 320 Overburn. Why don't you just explode? Why don't you just explode, buddy? Oh! Chikichi's obviously taking damage. Achievement unlocked, bigger hitter. We're doing a lot of achievement unlocks in these last couple of episodes. Not a lot of winning, but a lot of achievement unlocks. Heartmist Station just doesn't feel like it's going to be impactful enough to really keep us alive. Chikichi doesn't really feel like it's impactful enough to warrant being on the board against the... Oh no, but I do need to be able to sacrifice it in order to be able to actually do things on board. Shade Wisp. Which of the enemies would I even copy? One that attacks every 2 turns? The only problem is if I don't give that extra HP via like Pinkberry Juice, it just dies instantly. Let's get Vesta out ASAP. Oh no, you do need to stay there. Actually, it's not Vesta, it's Lumen, and the Lumen has to go on the Heartmist Station still. Every 2 turns the enemies here are attacking. I'd really like if I wasn't just losing instantly. I'm not going to be able to shuffle my characters as well. This party is not particularly good for this enemy. I don't love that the Frost Bomber on the top line's got that barrage, but I'm gonna have to deal with it. Which means Heartmist Station does need to go on the bottom line, otherwise it immediately dies to the first barrage. Chikichi definitely goes on the top line as well, because sacrificing there is gonna be better for us. Boy. I really don't see how I win this with this deck. The thing this deck needs to do is to be able to get a unit and then stack up Overburn on it while surviving. The enemies here ramp up ridiculously, have the ability to target so many different positions, and the frontline enemies have 90 health, so it would take ages to really get my candles to do much work. I'm gonna try. I feel like I'm gonna have to lower the damage on the Frost Bomber before it attacks in order to have any chance at all. Alright. There's a double. There's another double. Probably time to cycle right now. Four damage, and then 2 damage, and then I double that effect. Yeah, all I can really do. This is better. This blocks 4 damage for us if I Sunburst 2/2 LOEs. And gets even more Overburn on the target right before they get doubled. I can do the same thing just by playing the Bebop Mask. Gives me the ability to focus on Sunburst 2-ting Vesta instead. That's right. Bebop Mask goes on top line. I could try and yank enemies out of line, but I don't really want to do that. I think the right play right now is Yeti Skull on Chikichi to freeze this bottom line. Eloise attacks on the top line, summoning another spark. So Frost Crusher will deal damage to that this turn before Vesta doubles. Okay, maybe this is actually a lot more doable than I thought. I really wish it would tell me what card got destroyed. I always forget to check. I know it's not a big issue, it's just I think it would be nice if it were there. Cycling as quickly as possible so I can get back to my doubling again for the possibility of literally just killing the entire opening line would be amazing. Ooh. I could remove Berry Sis from that line with a Bebop Mask instead. It's not awful. Honestly, I could even freeze the bottom line again with Yeti Skull. I just have to deal with the Frost Lancer again next turn, but that's... that's pretty bad. Sunburst 2/2 on Vesta this turn, not great. One play could be something like Lumen Vase on Sunburst 2/2 so that next round, before the enemies on the top line even attack, Vesta doubles the Frost Crusher and just explodes the entire line. I actually really like that. What else would be better? Because I don't want to see that 2 damage barrage come through our entire team, but that 2 damage barrage doesn't need to be too much of an issue for us. Frost Bloom in particular could help us take care of that. Okay, it was Chikasan. Could have been worse. Vesta blows up the entire top line. Frost Junk is attempting to attack here. I've got to summon a Bebop Mask in order to block. Now, giving some extra health to the Berry Sis right now seems a really good idea. Unfortunately, Eloise is unmovable, so I can't put the Bebop in a position I'd actually like it to be in right now. Okay. Let's get it to take out Junjun. Actually, no, I can even get it to take out Bebop instead. I do need to redirect the position of Bebop, and this is the best way to do that, so sooner or later Bebop needs to change lines there. Azil's Skull for doubling the Frost Junker in the backline, but the problem is then I have to deal with all of them attacking at the same time. If I could force Junjun down to the bottom line right now, that would be really useful, because then I could use the Yeti Skull to try and freeze a full line. Honestly, Yeti Skull on the Heart Mist Station at this point is probably not bad either. Yeah. Bunch of turns of freezing there. I'll double that. Gives me an opportunity to possibly double it again. I can draw into Pinkberry or a couple of forms of Frost, a couple of forms of Weakness, sure. Interestingly, I didn't actually draw into anything that was going to help me redirect the Berry Sis here. Really thought that was pretty much guaranteed. This card would do it, 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 this card wouldn't, this card would. So 5 of the cards would. Fun. Get 1 unit off the field. Let's take Frost Junker out. Berry Sis dies. Now, Eloise is going to summon a Spark, which is going to be directly in front of the Frost Jailer, thankfully. Also going to put my own Bebop Mask down on the bottom line. Oh wow, no, it moves me to the bottom line. Rude! Alright, Frost Jailer, feel free to attack, but you're taking 8 Overburn for having done so. Gonna Sunburst Vesta in order to double that sooner rather than later. Cycle to see if I can get towards an Azure Candle to be able to do it again sooner rather than later again. Again. Well, that's not that. Shade Wisp the Frost Jailer. Oh my god. I Shade Wisped it and got a copy with Overburn, but thankfully, the Overburn did not work against my units. Good god. That... You know what? Hey, 2 times earlier in this run, a bug has broken on the other side. This time it's nice that it worked out in my favor. A bank area in my favor has to occur occasionally for it to really be a game of Monopoly. Just give some help to Eloise. Lower the damage of the Lancer. One more cycle, and that'll do it. Azure Candle on the Frost Jailer, they attack Bebop, Vesta attacks them, explode, and we did it. It took almost forever. 2 hours and 22 minutes, yeah, almost forever. But we managed to get through that. A lot of thinking to do in a run like this. But not only did we win the run to the extra extent, we sacrificed 10 allies in single battle, we also got a new companion unlock and did 100 damage in a single hit. If there was one for stacking Overburn on a target, we would have got that one as well. That's a lot of town progress. Let's go to the hot springs to meet the new companion Van Jun. While active, add current damage to all summoned allies. Final is add 10 scrap to clunkers. Looks like the springs are attracting new visitors. And then finally up here, big hitter. Oh, we've had that. Bigger hitter, there we go. Durian Charm, plus 5 damage, remove all effects. That would be insane on Foxy, who doesn't have any effects. Oh, a little Cult of the Lamb reference here as well. Lamb Charm, gain Faith 2. Faith increases summons damage and health. Right, so you can put this on a mask. Got it. I think we've done the other one so far. I've got to get Feed the Beast for giving a consume item. I've got to get Tough Nut, 15 shell on a single target, Snowball Fight, 15 snow on a single target, and the Frost Guardian down with a scrappy sword in order to unlock the final couple of charms there. And then 10 scrap to clunkers would actually finish all of the unlocks as they currently stand. We're going to be looking into doing that in the next episode, but until then, my name is Rhapsody. The name of the game? Well, that's been Wildfrost. Top left is the series playlist for all the content in the game past, present, and future. YouTube recommendation down below. Streaming past and the names of the people so generously supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays. At a Republic thank to, and a special thanks this episode to Eloise. Hopefully you all have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.